present is the soil in which the future is rooted. And as William Gibson famously said, the future is already here. It's just not equally distributed. And you don't know about it. Did you miss the opportunity internet presented in 1990? As Mark Twain famously said, history does not repeat itself, but it famously rhymes itself. The future is here. We are seeing a whole new economical and technological shift. Features and tenets are being written by millions of people, and you are welcome to join us on the journey. The winds of change are blowing once again. Do you want to ride the change or be swept away by the change? The choice is yours. Revenue in cinema ticketing segment is projected to reach around 400 million US dollars, resulting in a market volume of 460 million US dollars by 2027. With entertainment industry all set to change, today we have an entrepreneur who is on the way to change the traditional ticketing system, Web 2.0 to Web 3.0. He has been running a successful real estate business. He's built cinemas, and now he is here to change the ticketing industry. With his new project, I welcome Abhinav Garg, CEO founder of Blocktickets.io. Hi Abhinav, welcome to the show. And it's been the ticketing industry is a lucrative industry. It's been overall a whooping $890 billion industry as an all, which is growing bigger day by day. So let's dive into this ticketing industry and what is your project all about? Give us a brief description about you, yourself, and how did you get into this and your journey about this, and how did it come about from real estate, from building cinemas to getting where you are into a technological front.
Thanks, Gurpreet. Thanks for inviting me to your show, and I've been really following your page on YouTube, and I find your content really good on information. And I'm really happy that you're actually trying to give more information about the products on Web3, blockchain, crypto, NFTs. There's so many things that people get confused with, and it requires a lot of information on this front. So I'm thankful for that, and of course, really a pleasure to be here. To start with, of course, Gurpreet, I've been into real estate, as you mentioned. I have been into projects in North India, developing real estate assets. The real love for something like this started when we entered the phase of COVID, and in COVID we spent about a year at home, and realizing that nothing is certain in life, and we need to build something which is proof of the external factors. And that's where, of course, when you're in this industry, you have good connections, you've built a good reputation with over a period of time. You start discussing with peers and understanding what is going to work. And the idea started when we understood a little bit about crypto, and that was the hype. Everybody wants to know what is crypto, what is NFT. Let's invest into something. So just started from that, that kind of passion to know more. And that's when I realized that this is much more beyond just investments. Right. This is much more beyond. It's maybe the right time to get into something like this, wherein you see that the application of the product can actually change the industry. Right. Blockchain is a technology which takes time to understand, but once you understand, you realize the real potential it has to disrupt the markets. And I'm not only talking about entertainment industry or a specific industry. It is actually applicable throughout whatever we do in daily lives. You talk about any industry, any manufacturing unit, you talk about, the blockchain, that's where I started loving the product. I started, understanding more and more, and that's where, and then of course, the idea started with, let's do something not to just ride a wave. Correct. Let's do something where we can actually, implement something which could have a meaningful result, which could actually solve a problem.
Yeah. So more like a utility, I think, that you guys are coming in.
Absolutely. So we want to solve a problem. We want to see what are the current problems that we are facing into a specific industry, and that's why we shortlisted entertainment, because that was something I was part of already, and I understood the systems behind it. And that's the time we realized that there's a lot of things that needs to be done in ticketing. Right. And ticketing being part of cinemas, and being part of the entertainment industry, we understood that there is a lot of potential that is to be done, but has not been done by the existing infrastructure.
I mean, saying that you come in from a very successful business background and entering into this, which is something that is futuristic, and I think this also, is your confidence into this product or this market as a whole.
Yeah.
So how was your journey from transitioning, and you've been talking to people, you got into blockchain ticketing. So how has your transition been from a world where we all are still living in to a world where we are building something, we are innovating something, we are creating something more meaningful? Of course, as I do understand, it's going to make life a lot easier.
Yeah.
But for the viewers, for all of them who are seeing this show, I mean, what is it that you want to say? And getting in, how challenging it was from coming from a business background, running successful business to where you are today.
It's a great point that you raised, Gurpreet, and this is one of the analysis we did in one of my classes, and I was just going and talking to some peers. They mentioned if you take back in time, there were companies who were listed top 10 companies, were oil companies, were companies like Walmart, brick and mortar. If you really open the data today, you'll only find probably 80%, 90% being tech companies.
Absolutely.
And you see that there's a complete shift the way we used to think traditionally versus how we think today. If we don't change our ways of working, and if we do not pivot onto the new, or we do not accept the new technology or the new ways of working, we'll always fall behind into what we want to do. Right? And we may not be able to reach to the goal that we dream of. So my dreams are very simple, that we need to do something to not only earn money, but that's only one part of it. The main factor is how we can actually change something and embellish that change into the system that could enhance the complete value chain.
Absolutely. So, I mean, what would be the specific problems you faced in in a ticketing industry? I mean, so how does your project bring out a solution to what you are actually planning to do?
So how I take it, ticketing is we've actually reached Mars, and that's one of the quotes that we always say. But our ticketing system is still belonging to the earlier years where the caveman used to survive.
Yeah.
The thing is that we've only transitioned from a physical form of a ticket to a QR code. I mean, if you really look at it, we've actually changed from physical, we used to go to the venue and they used to give you a ticket in hand. Now you've actually just buying the ticket online before the event happens. So what you've done is basically you've made it easier for people to buy tickets. It's made it easier for people to cancel their tickets. But the system is actually the same.
Easier for them to store as well, I think.
Store is something which is not valuable to people now, or they don't really see that value right now.
Right.
But storing of a ticket is more like you holding a first day ticket show of Sholay movie, or in a Hollywood sense, owning a Top Gun ticket of first day first show. Right. It has a value, maybe not to someone else but to you. Right.
Correct.
And you want to store that. How many times people you see are storing their boarding passes when they board a flight? I still have my few boarding passes, which is in my drawer lying somewhere. And this is a ticket I used for my college, the first time I went to US. Right? So these are the things that we have, and there is intrinsic value to it. But we're not able to unleash those values because there was no value you could see at that point of time. But when, of course, the technologies come in and we see that the collectibles, and we see how NFTs are performing in life, and we see how they've gone higher in prices, I think this has become inevitable that these tickets will also hold some value in future.
Right. So you're basically trying to get, I think in a way that your project is making it easier for people to travel, to watch movies, to get into entertainment system. So, I mean, look, entertainment system will be, we all know it's going to be one of the biggest industries coming in future. And, ticketing also, I personally feel that it's also going to be one of the biggest industries coming in time. So right now, I think it's a lot of these companies have the monopoly of having the entire, I think about 70 to 80% of the market share. So, and where all do you think you can fit into this? And do you think that you would actually have something that you're bringing in as a first mover's advantage?
or I mean, what is your take on this?
I don't feel when I make a product for a competition. I always feel I want to make a product for easing the process, to optimize the process. And that's where my thought came in. Not that there was an $890 billion industry, but to be actually seeing that $890 billion industries today. But do we have the numbers of the things that you can do on ticketing, and what would that number be?
Right.
We don't have the idea right now. So I don't even want to benchmark $890 billion as one of the targets. My benchmark is, what can I do on ticketing which can completely change the way we look at ticketing?
Right.
And that's where it comes from, is what are the existing problems? Have we addressed those existing problems with the ticketing industry? Now that starts with a basic ticketing concept is black marketing, fake tickets. Correct. I mean, user not having an option to even resell his tickets. You're not able to add on these sponsorships onto the tickets. What is lacking was the technology. There was no instrument for people to understand how you could actually optimize that ticket, that you could you could enhance the value of the ticket by reselling it, by earning the organizer being able to earn a royalty on the resale of the ticket, which is not an option before. But today, because of blockchain technology, we have that option where every ticket that we mint is actually based on a smart contract. It is nothing but a contract.
Correct.
So when you're able to decentralize the process, when you're able to give people that, you give the power to the people to make their own decisions, and why they're doing this, the organizer is also making money. So what we're trying to do is we're making a ecosystem when all the stakeholders in the product are being benefited, including the artist, the organizers, the event goer, the sponsorer. I mean, there's so many times we look at sponsors, we don't even look at them more than just giving us money. But eventually, if you're able to, as an organizer, give the return back to the sponsorer, that changes the entire ecosystem. If the sponsorer knows that what kind of customer I've targeted, how I've converted him, how much am I converting out of the money that I've paid out, he doesn't have that statistics.
Right.
And that statistics completely changes the way you were sponsored. Today's sponsorship for a company is more like branding, right? And branding is more like an expense.
Correct.
We don't see it as a revenue. We only see it, this is my budget for expenses.
Absolutely.
Why is it expense? Because we don't have the data to really say that what is the input from it.
Wow.
So what we're trying to do is we're trying to build a system where a sponsorer would be able to shortlist the audience he wants to target. There will be a dynamic ticketing where every ticket could actually, the sponsor offer could be dropped onto a ticket directly, building them a product which could give them a platform for them to give updates to their target audience, what they've achieved with that offer, and converting them, and from there getting the data and statistics that what they're able to achieve by sponsoring an event.
Wow. So that is bringing in a lot of change, I would see. But do you think people are accepting it?
So I think the question comes back to what value can you bring into them.
Correct.
And if you have a value in a product that they could perceive with raw data, you don't have to talk about, I think I'm a very data driven guy. I love to see when data comes in.
Right.
Anything going beyond data is all superficial numbers. I don't know if that makes sense. You need to have a real data backing your numbers and your philosophy. If you can actually say that this is the amount of money you're spending and this is the money you will get backed by a proper database, there is no reason for a genuine guy who's wanting to do business to take a decision on that.
Absolutely.
So that's what we're banking upon more than that.
And so have you actually been able to use this in practical world right now? Have you actually done any concerts? Have you actually done any ticketing, or how is it, coming along for you?
So we've been blessed to start a product in a way that we've already created the product in a POC level. That's a proof of concept level. Our product is live, it's working. We have now we have a marketplace in place. Now we are actually organizing the complete black marketing into a structured marketplace, where only the tickets will be resold and sold by the organizers, by the event goers, and the retailers will be able to buy the ticket off in the secondary market. We are giving the organizers the royalty, so they could earn on every transaction that is happening in the secondary market. The organizer will be able to build in his own royalty, what he wants to command out of that ticket. What we are seeing is that we've done these events, but we are yet to really pivot on these core competent products that we have, the features that we have. That is crowdfunding, not a crowdfunding, I would say pre-sale of tickets.
Right.
We would say secondary market sale, the sponsorship level, and of course the NFT level. Now NFT is a cherry on the cake. It is something that gives the user the possibility to own his own experience.
Correct.
And that's the real value, that you can own an experience.
Absolutely.
And you can keep it in your wallet forever, right? And that's, I mean, an NFT we divide into two parts. We've got a utility NFT and we've got a collectible NFT. Now, collectible NFT is an NFT which is predominantly helping the customer who's going to see the event to store his valuable experiences during the event. Right? The utility NFT is that we're trying to build, is that someone who could actually get an access to that event in a more luxury way or in a more red carpet way. Right. Now that differentiates because you're able to give out that membership, which is actually sellable tomorrow.
Right.
You may be here in the city today to actually witness the event, and you've bought the NFT, but tomorrow you may not be here. So you have an option to actually let go of the NFT and somebody else buy it and avail that. It works in memberships. You buy the membership of a gym, but how many times do you go to a gym in a year?
Absolutely.
I mean, there are days you're traveling, there are months you're traveling, and that goes for a toss. So if you have an option to actually resell a membership, because it's driven by the contract, it's automatically foolproof that you are actually optimizing the membership. Right? And you're not losing money on that. The similar concept goes into the events as well. If you bought a ticket and if you bought a feature of that event that you can go and have a red carpet access, so you can easily sell that red carpet access if you're not in the city. That's a membership in a way.
Right. So, very interesting. So tell me one thing, that now that you're doing all this and you have I would say teething problems, and then you're gonna get on to how easy has it been for you to do this in India, and how do you think about this market globally?
India is a big market.
Yeah.
And I'm a very firm believer that anything which is priced right and is hitting the market, the masses.
Because we're very price sensitive.
We're very price sensitive, mass driven market. And I think India has a great scope. And unfortunately for our systems and for the laws right now, we're not really fully tuned to really take care of that blockchain technology. And there is a lot of misconception between how blockchain, crypto, NFTs work. And we generalize these 3-4 things and we try to understand what it is, but it is actually a very different product.
Right. So this is actually my last question. I had it because what you're saying is completely right. We'll discuss that at the end, because all these concepts are very different concepts, and this is why you are here today. Because it's people, they are meeting the real people behind the real projects. For a lot of people, Web3, blockchain, crypto is still something known as scam. But I think we've gone beyond, much beyond than those things, I mean, scams are there in real world, scams are there on internet, scams are there everywhere in the world. But something negative really impacts all these things. So that is why, you're here to explain that this is, one of those interesting projects that I feel that, is something that not just in India, I think globally also people would love to get into a project like this. Because I don't know, as much as I've read, I don't see any other competitor to this kind of a product who is developing. People who are already like Book My Show or all these bigger companies, I think they're already content with the amount of users they have. So for them to change, I think is something that an institution, it takes a lot of time, and it's not something that they'll just take a decision and then they'll change. But for a company like you who's growing and has this, an absolutely a great idea and innovation, and I also see that you practically also you are doing that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, by what I've read, by 2030, the entire ticketing industry, airline ticketing industry would come under blockchain industry. Yeah. So, I mean, how prepared are you to take on those users? Because look, if this industry grows, your project grows, then the users will grow. How prepared are you to take them on board, and how easy is your platform to use, or what are the problems that or solutions that you're giving in terms of usability, and how easy it's going to be for people to use?
So there is a big challenge when we make the product like this, and coming specifically from a geographical area like India, we have to be very careful about a lot of processes, systems, laws, legality around the product. And to actually implement it, it has to be as easy as a Web 2 for a consumer.
Correct.
So keeping all these factors in mind, it makes it very difficult for someone like us to create a product. We get, and of course this industry is a very nascent stage. We are seeing a lot of innovation in terms of how the Web3 wallet should work. Now the integration of the banking system with the wallet system is tough. You have to make sure if it's a global product, it has to be globally acceptable in terms of transactions, right? How do you make one product which is sellable in US, somewhere like in India, a guy could be able to invest his money into an event?
Absolutely.
There is a big challenge when you connect this dot with the other dot.
Right.
How do you bypass all the banking channels? How do you bypass all the all the transactional costs or frictions or times? So these are the things which are available with us when it comes to crypto. But then the problem is we have to be a front end which is a complete fiat currency driven product, which is of course the local currency that we use, so that there is no legality issue. Now that's where we are trying to develop two parallel products together.
Correct.
On the front end, you'll only be transacting in fiat. By the back end, we are making a huge engine which is completely based on blockchain, which does not work on fiat. And we're trying to amalgamate these two things along with the government policies, along with the international policies, along with the different payment gateways from every different country. So we are actually trying to build a system where a user logs in, the system is able to detect which country are you from and what will be the laws applicable to your country.
Wow.
And according to your specific legal requirement, the product will change.
Wow.
Right? So this is the amount of work that you have to go in to make that product, which is going to become a global product. It's very easy to say global, but it's very hard to implement the local ground level bylaws.
100%, because it takes a lot of effort to even develop something like that. And so, I mean, this is something that I definitely do agree with you that if you have something, say, if people know the kind of legalities, I think it is going to make life a lot easier. And I was also reading through your vision which said embellishing human experience.
Yeah.
So I think this is what it is, right? I mean, it's going to be something that you're really working on, focusing on giving people a better experience and a better way to move forward in the entertainment industry. So all of these concepts or the concerts that you've done, and do you think that there would be a time when these concerts would also happen in metaverse?
So metaverse is inevitable. It's going to happen.
Right.
With COVID coming in, we also.
And will you be working on that also?
Yes, absolutely. Metaverse is a byproduct of any event that you do, right? A metaverse events is like an event which is not a physical, but in metaverse in a digital world. So people are monetizing metaverse by selling land.
Right.
So I don't think ticket is a big deal to even sell an entry to anyone else. So it's more like a ticket which is not physical but digital in the sense of metaverse attendance, and the system process remains the same completely. It's just that when the customer enters instead of physically, he enters digitally, which becomes even more easier for us because digital is more it's not physical requirement for us to be there.
Right.
But when you're in the metaverse, the APIs talk, the websites talk to each other, and they understand who's entering, who's exiting, and it's much more seamless rather. So metaverse is something which we feel in times to come will be very relevant in some industries, wherein you don't need to do everything every time physically.
Right.
And there is a lot of time we've actually realized in our daily lives, you don't want to travel every day for a meeting when you can actually do the meeting on Zoom call.
100%.
You don't have to see your lawyers or your,
right.
Or for small reasons. You can actually go on Zoom and do that. There is a huge requirement of a body language to be seen, but that's only once in 10 meetings or 2 meetings.
No, but also I think, Abhinav, there was a time when we used to write letters, and there was a time when we used to email.
That's right.
Then there was a time where we had, all these messengers coming on to the era.
Yeah.
Then we had all these social platforms coming in. And out of that, now we have WhatsApp in our everyday life. I don't know how many times you even dial a number. We just do a WhatsApp call. So the entire norm of socializing, entire norm of connecting, what I personally feel that connecting people has become a lot easier now.
Yeah.
And entertainment business is, again, it's about connecting people. It's a social kind of a gathering, and I think this is a much required kind of a concept for the entertainment industry. Now, how it's done and how people accept it is yet to be seen.
Yeah.
But saying that, I was actually researching on this, and then Paris is in their Olympics 2024. Paris is actually trying to get all their ticketing done on NFT.
Yeah.
Before we think that this concept is too far, I mean, I think 2024 is quite near.
Yeah.
And how do you think, is that going to give a boom to the industry, to the ticketing industry in general? And do you think that these kind of events would change the kind of mindset that people have?
Yeah. Absolutely. I think Paris 2024 Olympics is a great platform for a blockchain product to be launched, to be honest. There are other governments that we've been in discussion with. They're wanting to do a blockchain ticketing.
Right.
We've seen, in fact, even Dubai Expo that happened. We had the opportunity to do the blockchain ticketing for them. But unfortunately, we did not have the infrastructure at that time in place. But there has been a lot of demand coming in, not only from we are generating a demand, it's the other way as well. People are wanting to do this. People are seeing the real value, what customer can derive from the blockchain ticketing is much more beyond than just a normal QR code. And that being said, the basic thing is that they're able to give that ease to the customer to sell his ticket.
Right.
To understand that I can't really go to the site and sell the ticket. I can just sell it online. I can just place it online and be verified. Even the username changes, it's automatically tracked, it's automatically changed, so it's verified with the site. So a lot of benefits. But to be honest with you, we are yet to see the disruption.
Right.
We are yet to see how does this product disrupt the existing technology.
Correct.
And that comes with a pure, I think, few elements that needs to be plugged in. And those elements are going to make a vast decision. I mean, what we are seeing probably right now is just a macro level scratch of the table.
Right.
You're not really gone inside the benefit that it can actually get to you. And that will, when that comes in, that's where the real disruption would happen. But this is a great starting block. And if this comes in, people will start realizing the value of it.
Correct.
People start realizing the ease of buying a ticket and selling a ticket. And this is what's going to make other people get into this. And that's where we will get a much more, and it's a great option for us as well, because it makes our life easier when people start doing that.
No, absolutely. I think you guys are here bringing in a change. I think this is what technology is all about. You can't ignore technology, right? And I think this is the beauty of this technology. And taking your conversation forward, as you said, Dubai. Now I see Dubai has been, has been accepting all the technological front. And I was talking to someone, and he said, what? So in my point of view, is Dubai kind of a country where if you're saying certain things are still yet to come in place, are they giving the comfort? Is the kind of comfort that they are creating, the environment that they are creating, is why everyone is actually trying to go to Dubai,
Absolutely.
Open a business there, run a successful business there without any hassles, without any intervention of any other third party. So is Dubai kind of creating, that atmosphere there?
The message from the government is very clear, that they want to be a Web3 government. Even if you look at their own systems that is being built currently is on blockchain. They have a complete vertical, a wing of blockchain there. So the message in the general public is very clear, that they are for blockchain. And we all understand it takes time for any government, any company to make a product. Forget about a complete regulation.
Right.
Now what they're trying to do is they're giving out these licenses to certain companies who will make them understand what is the requirement of a regulation as far as blockchain is concerned. So right now they're in that stage of understanding the product, and they've done a brilliant job by actually giving it to a certain limit of people, the licenses from them which they can learn the process. implement into the regulations,
Right.
and then bring it all for everybody else.
So like they have given licenses to Binance,
Right.
FTX.
Yes.
So are you trying to tell me that they will learn from them?
Yes, absolutely.
They will learn how to regulate this
Correct.
and how to go forward with this technology?
Absolutely spot on. So they've given these, I think they've given license to about 30 companies
Okay.
in the total world, globally.
Wow.
And these companies are giving them the rights to understand how the regulation works,
Right.
and what needs to be regulated. Right? Nobody wants to bypass a government or create a product without the government support. We
Correct.
all want to grow the company in a most legal way. It's just that the systems and process are not available, and that is the reason that government of Dubai has given the clear indication to the people that you must come here, build here, we will support you. And that message has gone across the globe, and
Yeah.
they've done a fantastic job by attracting people, hosting events, giving them the platform to really understand what Web3 is. For even people like us, they're giving us the platform to really scale up there. And that being said, of course, we as India can do much more, and we have that kind of the expertise, the knowledge, the skill set.
Right.
India has always been a tech
Correct.
country,
Correct.
and if the tech country is not able to build something like what blockchain is, I think we are actually draining out the real juice from the Web3. Web3 is a huge $1 trillion
I agree.
vertical. It needs to be tapped. It needs to be, and we are a homegrown country. We can
Correct.
grow our own. Till date, most of the companies who are operating with Web3 have their employees in India.
Yeah.
I mean, they're employing people from India because India has that kind of knowledge, the skill set. And I think it'll be very sad for us if we see people going out and making their companies abroad and making the turnovers abroad, and rather than it should happening in India, because we have that kind of capabilities.
No, absolutely. See, so we were there in Dubai, and when you and me we were there, we did see that there was a section where the Ministry of Dubai themselves were standing.
Absolutely.
There were ministers standing, there were high-end police, cops, the heads, everyone standing there. Not for a security issue, they were there for promoting technology.
Yeah.
And I mean, how comfortable it is and how nice it is to see they themselves standing there to promote this kind of a technology. So as you said rightly, I think the word has gone globally.
Yeah.
And now people they are quite happy coming to Dubai.
Yeah.
I was also seeing an interview, and in that the head of the technological ministry, now he said, what, we want people to come in and we are here to support
Absolutely,
you.
yeah.
We're not here to not support you, to ignore, to create problems. We are actually here for you to build a better future.
Absolutely.
And that is where I totally agree that India has been a technological country. It's a homegrown
skill set. Yeah.
skill set, and and the sad part is that I think most of the people who actually are in Dubai are from India.
Absolutely.
In a way.
Absolutely.
So it's something that India really needs to think upon, and I think this technology is inevitable. This will come eventually.
Yeah.
And this is already there actually. I won't even say this will come. This is already being
there.
used in a lot of platforms. It's just a matter of time where we will see it being used around us, kind of a thing.
Adaption, yes.
So, it's just that it should not be too late till then to get everyone back, because these things are something, once if you leave them and they are gone, it's very difficult to get them back.
And it's all about the message that you send across on the board.
100%.
If you are sending a positive response that we are for it and we want to regulate it, nobody minds that. People rather would want to opt for that rather than going the other way. And we see so many homegrown companies shifting their base. I mean, the $1 billion companies who are actually shifting their base from India to a country like UAE. It's saddening to see that the kind of potential we have, and we are actually losing these big companies for sake of just regulations. And it's not that any other country is different from our country. Everybody functions, everybody wants to make money, everybody wants to be an ecosystem where everybody is gaining out of it. Absolutely. So I think we must be concentrating on the ecosystem so that we attract talent rather than draining them out.
So, saying that, I mean, your company has a projection of $1.2 million by December 2023, right? And how do you, how would you keep up to this projection with Dubai accepting it? I agree, but with an entire financial system coming to a collapse and people talking about a recession, people talking about, it's probably the worst that we would have ever seen, the money being printed and, the entire ecosystem, financial system in a kind of a, in crisis. So how do you think that, this projection would come alive, and how do you think that you're going to take this forward?
I think this is a very conservative numbers that we've actually put out. The reason is, even though you're talking about collapse and everything, but my philosophy is that whenever there's a collapse and there's a depression, the numbers for events goes higher. The very fact is that people want to have a change. People want to go out, spend money in the sense of changing the mindset, changing watching a movie, sitting at home, you don't really get out of that zone, right? So you see the trend for the events goes higher from that perspective.
So you're trying to tell me recession is good for your project?
Absolutely, it is great for us because eventually, you want to have a change. You would, I mean, when is it that there is a concert being playing and you look at the price and you say, you know what, I'm not going to go watch the concert because it's too expensive. Rather you would say, you know what, let's just go and change the mindset. And that's what happened even after COVID ended. People said there's going to be a big collapse in the world, but if you ask me honestly, we have never scaled up the way we've scaled after COVID. I would say it's more to do with the mindset.
Correct.
It's more to do with, I think 1.2 million is just if you talk about $890 billion industry, we're not even talking about 0.0005% or 0.01% of what we're talking about. And this is just tapping maybe one or two verticals of what we're doing. And I think this is just a number that we don't have to really think too much. This is something which we know will happen, but we really need to scale up beyond that. This is not even the vision for us to even look at it.
So if US raises its rates and the market is pushed into recession, I think so you might benefit from all these.
Absolutely. So if you look at it,
so in any ways you're going to benefit, right? Even if people are happy, they'll still go for the concerts.
Absolutely, yeah.
Even if people are sad, they want a change, so they will still go for it. So in both the ways, I think you are looking at people and a kind of a conservative number that we're looking at.
We have a fair value derivation of the tickets.
Right.
Whenever the ticket is sold, after that it's a fair value, which demands and creates a resale value.
Right.
Now the fair value is something we feel that the customer is willing to pay for a product, right? And that comes from the customer rather than coming from the organizer, right?
Right.
If you're able to tap that market and we're able to do that, and there's a huge gap between the primary sale and secondary sale right now. We know for a fact that there are numbers in US, in NFL, when the event is being held at $100 an average ticket price. The ticket price in secondary market is $400.
Right.
Now, nobody has really talked about tapping that margin for the organizer or for even the platform like us. I mean, if today what we are seeing is that there are 10%, 12% charges to a ticket by a monopolistic player like Eventbrite or maybe like other competitors, but you really see they don't have any other vertical to make money. That's the only vertical they have. But for us, we are actually pivoting on 5 products to make money on. So we have resale, we have sale, we have financing of events, we have sponsorship levels, we have so many other products to offer, which really helps us to really decrease the percentage and empowering the customer with a much lower value of transaction cost. Why should we be charging 12% or 10% on a ticket value when we can generate the same revenue, more revenue from other verticals? So we are trying to empower the customer by lowering our cost, and I think that would also help in downturn. If the market collapses, you have a cheaper product to really bounce on, right? And that's where we feel we should be able to capture that as well.
So, I mean, in a country where we still look at blockchain as Bitcoin, how do you think that the crowdfunding or this project, or how easy it is to get investors into a project like yours?
The best thing about what India has happened is that startups have really boomed.
Right.
And because of that boom, a lot of people have made money. in the sense that investors have really gained a lot from investing into startups. Startups has become the buzzword in India, and we are seeing that happening with us as well. We have a great amount of interest from people who are wanting to invest in the product, not only because of startup, but they see the real intrinsic value behind it. And because of that reason, I think India being a blockchain or crypto associated, I think people who invest, they understand the difference between a blockchain and a crypto.
Correct.
So, crypto and blockchain, as I said, is more like a mail on internet, right? Same thing as crypto on blockchain. People are understanding the differences. Shows like yours are educating people and telling them what is the difference between blockchain and crypto. And I think people are now accepting the fact that blockchain is not what crypto is.
Right.
Blockchain has much more application. When I started this show with you, was blockchain has much more applications than we think about.
Absolutely.
And it's not just an investment tool for us to gain money like a stock market, but it is more to do with the technology that can be implemented into various projects. And I think Ethereum is, of course, something which we all talk about as crypto, but we actually forget Ethereum is a blockchain technology.
100%.
And 100%. Ethereum coin is just an investment tool for you to understand how well they're doing.
Correct.
But that does not translate it into a product of a blockchain product. I think that's where we need to differentiate these two things and understand the implication. And I know a lot of people approach us on an everyday basis, although we're not from the industry, but they ask us, how do we build a complete system of supply chain or whatever of a company onto blockchain? So I see a lot of people adapting to it, and I think it's only about time that people start understanding it, and that's when India will be out of control in terms of how blockchain will be implemented.
Do you think that people still lose interest, and as soon as the Bitcoin price goes down, people lose interest in blockchain, and as soon as the price goes up, is still that a kind of a factor that evaluates or is used as a thermometer to really see where we are? Or does that gain? I mean, do you get more investors? Do you get more traffic when the prices of Bitcoin is soaring?
So it's very unfortunate that unfortunately it does not work like a stock market right now.
Right.
It's working more on sentiments, and it's working more on information on market, and which is predominant times false as well.
Right.
It is not based on the performance, rather it's based on emotional sentiments. If the market would have been more on the base of the market size they're able to capture, then of course it would have a different implementation, or it could have a different way of looking at things. But today we are looking at things as a pure investment tool, and we're not really actually forgetting. See, we need to understand what Ethereum is to invest into Ethereum.
Correct.
How many people know what Ethereum does to invest into Ethereum? I mean, till date, even I learned it probably a year back or 2 years back, that Ethereum is actually a blockchain technology, wherein the coin is only representing the performance of it.
Oh, absolutely. Right? It's an open source technology, anyone can make, and that's the beauty of it.
Absolutely. It's adaptable, right? It's adaptable. They've now come out, there was a major hindrance of environmental issues with blockchain. And that's been overcome with Merge, right? And that's a groundbreaking innovation that they've done to actually remove the footprints. The carbon footprints, and they're able to do this by removing the miners, right? And I think that was the only thing I would say was detrimental in even my view when I was doing this product. But now that being taken care of, I think it has become a flawless product.
So, taking a leaf out of what you said, your project is based on Matic, Polygon, and but Ethereum again is a very strong solution, and it's a L1 solution. And so why did you not choose? Was it just gas fee? Was it just why would you?
So this goes back to the question: why did the ticketing not start on blockchain earlier?
Right.
Why is it today that ticketing started? Because it's very simple. Because the gas fees of actually minting the ticket was very high.
Right.
Every transaction that used to go on a blockchain used to be so high that it could be $100 per transaction. With layer 2 coming in, like Polygon and Matic and Binance, what has happened is the value of transaction on every ticket or every product that you mint on blockchain has gone down to 0.003 cents.
Right.
So all of a sudden, it has made a sense for a product which is on low cost to be on blockchain, right? On a public chain rather. If you could make a private, there have been few companies in ticketing who are in a private chain, But private chain does not make sense because you don't have any information for the public to see that the ticket is fake or real. Now what has happened is because public domain, it's a public blockchain, it has given that clarity to anybody in the audience or anybody in the population to really verify a ticket. And that's why when the price has gone down for that kind of transaction, automatically it made more sense. I would say even parking in a garage. When you go to larger, bigger cities like New York, you see the parking cost for an hour is huge. It's about $30 an hour.
Right.
So if you look at that value, and you've just parked your car for say 8 hours out of the 10 hours you bought, for those 10 hours, you can actually sell your parking spot to someone else who's willing to buy it for 2 hours. Right.
Wow.
So this is the kind of application that would come in because of the transaction value going down.
Right.
Right. So this is like a gate which is opened up for so many opportunities with the cost being lower, and that's the reason we are on Polygon and Binance, because they are layer 2. It's an Indian company again. Of course, we have a soft coin.
So that was my next question. So would you in future be willing to get onto Solana and all these chains also?
So we are a multi-chain product.
Right.
We can shift to any chain we want. But of course, as long as the chain is adaptable, a chain is fundamentally right, and it is giving us no transactional problems or frictions, we are much more happier with any of the chains like Polygon to be on. And they've supported us from initial days. They've given us the grants, and I think for a startup to really have that kind of confidence from a company like Polygon, I think we've been blessed to start with them.
Nice. So other than Polygon, who all have actually been partnered with you, sponsored with, been sponsoring, or how has it been in terms?
So we've been largely self-funded till now. We've been largely supported by Polygon, and of course we've changed our proposition to Binance as well for some time when there was a downturn at that level. We've been supported by, I think our support has been fundamentally by the event organizers. We've been supported by a lot of government organizations. We've been supported. So our backers, I would not say financially been there like that, but we've got a lot of confidence through certain competitions as well. So we've been participating into a lot of competitions, and we stood top 10 companies in one of the European competitions. And from there we understood that there is a lot of vision or a lot of things that can be captured through ticketing platforms. And that's where we scaled up, and that's where we have been into this business so far. And I think so far our journey has been fantastic, and I think going forward we will have much more response and much more attraction to this product because now we've opened the gates to airlines. We've been talking to airlines now, we've been talking to hotels. So I think the more we get into it, the more the gates opens up. It's just about tapping and understanding the market and implementing that product as per that market.
No, absolutely. And saying that, great project always attracts a great team. So this great team that you have, tell us about it, and tell us the difficulties you faced in getting this team all together. Because look, this is a kind of I know that it's not that easy to get all of these things structured in a way, and who all are there on, as an advisory board of advisors, and how did you get this team, and whose idea was it, and how did you come across all of you being together and making and building this wonderful project?
So as I said, I started from home when I was talking about COVID that time, and I was fortunate enough to get Nishant Chandra on board, who's my co-founder as well. And we regularly exchange notes, and this happened that this idea came up, and we sat across on a table and we started developing it. And that's where we started thinking about advisors, and that's when we started thinking about more co-founders. And we were lucky enough, fortunate enough for my past to meet Jasprit Bindra, who's the advisor. He is, of course, an ex-MD.
He's one of the leading people in the industry, I would say.
Absolutely.
He's one of the top people in India.
Absolutely. So he's top 10 blockchain experts of India. Who understands the technology, who understands the concept behind it. And we were fortunate enough when we were running that thought with him that he could buy in. Someone like him who's wanting to be on your board, who's got millions of offers with other companies, and he says, I like your product, is something which was more, I think, more like a win for us. Like when somebody that authenticates your product, gives us that kind of confidence. And that's when we started scaling up. And of course, then it came to tech, right? I mean, I'm not a tech background guy. I'm a very entrepreneurial guy. So for me, the tech was the backbone. And for me, either I could have jumped into myself. That would take a lot of time, or that could take a lot of efforts, and then I would not be able to do other things. So therefore, I make a conscious decision to meet people who would buy into my product rather than just paying money and getting it done. So I was fortunate enough to really venture out with Dr. Ravi Chamriya, who is of course helping with the backbone of the product, which is developing the tech and translating my vision or our vision of Nishant, me and Girish. We just got Girish Khera on board. He's also part of the investor community and startup community for a long time. He's been a mentor. He's built more than I think more than 30 plus companies now.
Wow.
So he is now giving his more or less like a full time on the company. Because we all see that there is a value behind the product. We see that there is a big light at the end of the tunnel, right? I think that's given me a lot of support, and the tech, as I said, was something which I was lagging, was completely fulfilled as soon as I got that check mark, who is number one company probably in my dictionary in India who does blockchain not from today, from probably 15 years from today.
Wow.
So he has that knowledge. They've got 18 plus years of experience in his domain. I don't think we can find better team or better advisors to really operate this kind of venture.
Because I think with so many people, and I know all of them, and the brain that they carry is something that they know, the experience and the brain that they have. I think mixed together, they are one of the best people around in the industry in India.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So getting them on board is also something that is, speaks highly about the project itself.
Absolutely.
So you also, have it in your vision written that embellishing human experience to provide safe and transparent, so rewarding ticketing ecosystem for all stakeholders through constant innovation. Now, of course, it is self-explanatory, but I just want that enlighten us more on this entire vision and your mission and what is your mission about this project, and what do you think as an ecosystem as a whole, that where are you heading to now?
So the vision is very clear, as you said. It's embellishing human experiences, and that goes to say that we want to make a product which actually enhances the human experience, not only from one perspective but the entire ecosystem. When I talk about the ecosystem, we're talking about the participants, from artists to participants of the event goers, from the organizers to the sponsors. So we are not wanting to make a product only at one specific industry. We are trying to make this product for everyone. And the more engagement you get, and the more value you get as a customer, being an artist, being a sponsor, being a customer to watch an event, that just enhances the complete product, right? And that's where blockchain comes in, because it gives you a lot of transparency, it gives you a security, it gives you a reward. And I think any product which has these 3-4 critical filters to it, I think that's what the win is here. That's what we are trying to create. And a long-term vision, it's not written because if you really break down embellishing human experiences, there's a lot of thought behind it.
I agree.
If you look at Apple's vision, is just one word, or making this earth a better place to live in. There are a lot of things which goes behind that when they say that, right? And that's where we thought, we cannot describe our vision in a paragraph. It has to be a small one. And to understand that, there's so many things behind that vision, is not just innovation. It's actually disruption. So I bring back that topic again and again, is that we want to disrupt not through innovation, and 99% of time we only see innovation.
Correct.
It's only few companies who can actually disrupt the complete cycle.
Right.
We feel is that we will be at a stage of time, we'll be so decentralized that anyone who wants to host an event or create a movie or start a company of airline, whatever they want to do, they should be able to do it without the organizers, without the middleman who's completely handling the product today, because there is a lack of technology, there's a lack of trust, there's a lack of transparency. We are trying to make this a structure which is more organized, so even the institutions can come in. Today we don't see events being backed by institutions. We don't see an organizer being backed by a banker. Why? Because there is no transparency, there is no system to it. So we're trying to create a product which could completely organize the product, or the event in a certain way that even an HNI or even a banker would come in and say, you know what, I'm willing to fund you because you've got such a great track record, which is transparent, which is operated by escrow accounts. So we are trying to get into that, and that's where we think our win would be, and that's where we think our disruption would be, when we are able to make it so decentralized that anyone who's got that skill set and wants to make an event out of it should be able to do that.
So have you now, like, when do you think that you'll be launching it, and what is the plan for?
We've already done our POC level. We've already done a proof of concept. We've already seen the product is working really well. We've already seen that in fact our business development is going stronger than even our product is. So we've seen the demand is very high, and we are now focusing purely onto our product now. So we are now innovating on the product in the sense that we are building more features to it. As I said about pre-sales of tickets or sponsorship dashboards. So we're trying to create that right now.
So are you also going to create a loyalty kind of a platform where people can, your own token or something, so that
it's interesting that you bring this up because this is in our discussion, the board meeting discussion day for yesterday, that there needs to be a token for our company to make it a global product.
Because a lot of people, they love whatever said and done, they love rewards, isn't it? And they would love that today, if I go as a human, I buy something from your website or from your, a ticket, and I get something back in rewards. So I can use that for my next concert, for next movie, for next airline ticketing, whatever it. So are you also planning on those terms?
Absolutely. The reward is one of the major critical aspects to it. It may not be in the phase 1, but definitely in phase 2, where we have actually shortlisted the way a user will be rewarded through buying the tickets, not only through giving discounts of X percentage, but actually rewarding them through the direct utilization, like a sponsor. Sponsor is willing to reach out to you and give you money. He's giving the money to the event. He needs to give it to people who are actually his database. And that's not happening currently. So we are seeing a crystal clear flow of money that can go directly into the pockets of the customers or the audiences, rather than going to the organizers or going somewhere else. And that could be split there, and that could be a great way for anybody to be engaged with the product. That would be a great way of somebody to experience a two-way experience, because right now events are a one-way experience. You just go to the event, you take the event, you absorb it, you go back home. But you don't have something to give back. You don't get something that you can take it back with you.
Your ticketing thing reminds me of internet. Initially when it came, it's like the internet, there was only one way to earn, and whoever had that website used to only earn. There was no other person who used to, so any traffic coming to that,
it's only him that's earning.
It's only that used to earn. And it's what you're doing is exactly what Web3 is actually done. So I totally
and I think that's implementable in all sectors that we're doing, even airlines, even theaters. You talk about, we were just talking to one of the airline companies that day, and we was like, how about dynamic tickets? We are trying to implement dynamic tickets which can drop the products onto your ticket live. For instance, you're an airline and you just, even half an hour before you land to your destination, you get a pop-up on your ticket which says Ola gives you a discount 30%. So what happens is you're able to have a dynamic interaction with the customer.
Correct.
And you can filter that customer through his destination. Now, for instance, he's traveling from Delhi to Bombay, So you know that his residence is in Delhi. He's just visiting Bombay. So you can actually, the percentage of people who will be going and using Ola or any other ride is much higher in Bombay of those people who are traveling from Delhi with the address of Delhi. So we can actually airdrop those specific customers that discount rather than giving to everybody else. It makes no sense for us to give it to 100% audience when 50% might not even avail it.
So this does increase a lot of interaction also.
Absolutely. It is an interaction. In fact, our platform will have an audience interaction with the sponsorer. There will be a platform wherein the audience will be able to rate their organizers. So there is so much happening, so that it's a robust system that is trying to synchronize the end parties, the end consumers, the organizers, the sponsors. So it's a complete ecosystem which is completely frictionless.
And it does take a lot of effort to build all these things and move forward. But I wish you all the best for this project, and it's been really nice and very interesting to know about this project. It's been nice talking to you, And I really want to thank you for taking your entire time out, coming to the show. And it's been really nice having you over. And I hope I have you coming very often to the show. And, and this project, it really takes off really well. But thank you, Abhinav. You've been a great guest. And it's been really nice having you over for the Crypto Coffee.
Thank you so much, Gurpreet. Thank you so much for calling me again. And of course, I couldn't be more happier than being here. And of course, the amount of knowledge that I've gained in 2 years, I would love to spread across, and I would love people to generally, get interested in this product, because this is the time to.
So, if anyone wants to reach out to you, how would they?
Yes, just mail me at abhinav@blocktickets.io. I'll be more than happy to of course, exchange.
We'll put all the links on the video as well. Sure. So, anybody who wants to, interact with Abhinav, wants to know more about the project, can actually go check those links out. And you can interact with Abhinav and do that. So you've got a website also, Abhinav?
Yes, we have a website. It's blocktickets.io.
Right.
And that's the website we have. That's the company's name, Blocktickets. And we are, of course, right now putting all our efforts to enhance the product, enhance the product completely, so we could be all, I think, in the mainstream within 4 months' time, I think.
Wow. Yeah. So I think you would be there in the mainstream when the bull market really starts.
I really hope so.
So this is really the time for anyone to check your project out and be in that space. But thank you so much, Abhinav. It's been a great show with you. Likewise. And I hope to see you again very soon.
Likewise.
Thank you, Abhinav, for taking your time.
Thank you so much, buddy.
Thank you, Abhinav.
Thank you.